Hey Bus Bench Babes, Beth here doing a solo episode. Today I'm talking all about the top 5 apps that I use every single day that make my life as a businesswoman so much easier. Let's dive in.
You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in. Okay, hey friends, Beth here doing a solo episode, and I wanted to share 5 apps that I use really every single day, and they make my life easier. They make me run my business more efficiently. They make me look tech savvy to my clients. They're really just all around apps that at this point, I honestly don't know if I could do things without them. So let's dive into this list. Number 1 on the list. Okay, so if you're listening to this in the car, full disclosure, we are going to send you a you'll have in all the show notes, you'll have the names of all the apps so you can download them and start utilizing them in your business. So don't feel like you need to grab a piece of paper right now. Check back with the show notes and you'll have all the info that you need. So, okay, number 1, Glympse. Glympse is an app that I learned about when Mark and I were dating. We were meeting, I think it was honestly for our second date. We were meeting to go for a walk around a lake, and all of a sudden this notification popped up on my phone, and it said, it came from Mark's, it was a text from Mark, but it said, check out my location. And I'm like, what is this fancy thing? So I clicked on it, and it literally showed me him. It showed me on a map where he was en route, and the car actually was like moving down the street. And then I could see like when he pulled into the parking lot where I was sitting waiting, and then it pulled up. He actually had his speed showing too. So you can have your speed on or off. I actually have mine off because he would give me so much crap when I started using this app. He's like, I can tell that you're speeding. You know, when you're dating a cop and now married to a cop, you really don't want to brag about the fact that you're speeding. So I disabled the speed notifications on mine. But where it comes in handy, so say I'm meeting a client and I can just send them a message and say, hey, I'm on my way. And they can pop on the map and they can see exactly where I am. Or if I'm getting there first, they can see where I parked, and then they know exactly where to pull in, especially if it's a neighborhood or like a condo or a townhouse, something like that, where it might not be super obvious where the meeting place is going to be. This app is so awesome. And when you're working with techie clients, they love it. I've worked with a bunch of engineer clients over the years, and I've had them say, oh my gosh, what is this app? It's so cool. I can see exactly where you are. And, then I knew exactly where to come meet you. Or if I'm running late, it will pop up a message and say, sorry, I'm running a little behind. And then they can see exactly when you're going to arrive. So this app it's amazing. It's great to use for business, but also just for your personal life. If you're meeting up with someone, highly recommend. Highly, highly. And it will make you look really techy, which is awesome. Tip number 2 is called, the app that I use is MileIQ. This is an app that I love for tracking miles. Every single day I'm out and about driving around. It's similar to a dating app where you swipe left or swipe right. So when you're driving throughout the day, anytime you're basically in motion, it's calculating your miles and at your destination from point A to point B. And say I'm driving from my house to go meet a client. It will have my home address, and then it will stop at the client's address, and then the app doesn't calculate miles anymore. But then when I get back in my car to head to my next appointment, it will say from the client's house to wherever. Let's just say I'm going to Starbucks to meet a client, and it will say Starbucks on there. The app actually calculates the miles for you, but then I get to categorize my drives. So I can swipe left or swipe right for business versus personal miles that you're calculating. This is especially helpful on the weekends where I might be running around with clients early in the morning on a Saturday. But then later in the day, I'm running errands, or, Mark and I are going on a date. You have the option of categorizing your miles for business or personal. If you have routes that you drive all the time, let's say from your home to your office, you can pre-populate that. So it's something that the app automatically recognizes as a business expense, or however you want to categorize that. How this becomes super beneficial in terms of business is that at the end of the month or the end of the year, you can download reports and it will tell you exactly how many miles you've driven. Your accountant wants to know this, of course. And you're always like guesstimating. Back in the day, I used to carry, and this is no joke, this tells you how long I've been in real estate. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I used to keep a little notepad in my center console, and I would write how many miles that I would drive every single day, because I would reset my odometer. And then every single day I would write down, calculate my miles. But I'm sure there were days that I forgot, or I wasn't tracking personal things that I was doing throughout my day versus business. So it was really like a guess at best. So that's what I love about this app, is that you can really track the difference between business and personal miles. And your accountant usually wants to know, I know mine does, they'll say, how many total miles did you drive? And then of those total miles you drove in whatever year you're doing your taxes for, how many of those miles were actually business miles? So having these reports that are totally spot on, especially if you ever get audited, you can say, nope, I'm used the MileIQ app and it's telling me exactly how many miles I drove. This app it's genius. And I know when real estate agents get into the business, it's a question that comes up all the time. What app, or how do you track your mileage, or what's the best way to go about it? MileIQ, hands down. I think I pay probably, I want to say maybe like $50 or $60 per year for the app. And in my opinion, obviously it's a business expense, right? So I get to write it off, but it is totally money well spent. So that one, two driving related apps. I didn't even think about that. Okay, let's jump into number 3. Number 3 is a creative one, and it's Canva. We talk about Canva all the time on this podcast. We love it. Really, we couldn't be doing all the creative things that we do for our social media without it, and for flyers and pretty much any piece of marketing that we put out for our team, for branding, for marketing properties, social media, everything gets done in Canva. It is, if you're not using Canva in your business, you truly are missing out. And our team is barely scratching the surface on the things that Canva can do. But I highly recommend that you get the app, pay for the pro version. It's not very expensive. It's a yearly fee, and you're going to get so much mileage out of it. What I love about Canva app is that all of the templates and everything that's associated with your account that you would use on your desktop or your laptop, they're all in the app on your phone. So when you're on the go, you're out taking a snapshot of a house that you have coming soon, or a listing that's going to go live, you can put that into one of your templates and all of a sudden just have a social media beautiful post that's ready to go within a minute or less. So just having all of that at your fingertips and doing things on the fly and instead of just posting a picture that's just kind of, you can make a beautiful social media posts that really reflect your brand, and it's just easy peasy. So Canva, we literally I can't say enough good stuff about it. And if you're not using Canva on a regular basis, in your business, I feel like you really are missing out. So that is a creative one. Number 4 is Plann. We have talked about this one before. It's Plann with 2 N's. And this is an app that helps you, what's the best way to describe it? It helps you plan all of your social media. So most people, if they're trying to be really productive with planning their social media, are doing batch working with social media. So we are on our team, we are working from anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks out ahead of time on content. You just have to. It's really hard to be creative just at the drop of a hat. So I batch social media content, and then it goes into Plann, and it's really cool because you can see on the grid what the my Instagram page looks like, so you know what to pop pictures in. If you're ever looking on really big influencers' Instagram pages, they're generally not just on a whim throwing pictures in, because you want your grid to look a certain way. You want it to really have a vibe that reflects your brand, reflects your style. So Plann is really great to do all of that. So you can batch content ahead of time. You can really predetermine what your grid is going to look like. They just keep on adding more features to it pretty much every single month. You can run a couple of different social media pages out of it. So you could have a business Instagram page, a business Facebook page. We run 2 Instagram pages and 1 Facebook page out of 1 account. We've beefed up our subscription with Plann, and it allows you to do that. It also is a great place to house all your sets of hashtags. So everybody knows, if you listen to Christy's episode where we talk about, or when she's talking about Instagram, hashtags are really where it's at. That's how people are going to find you. That's how you're really going to deepen your brand connection with people. And so just writing hashtags with every single post individually is not being strategic, and that's just not really, truly not a good way to go about it. So having all of your hashtag sets saved all in one spot is just makes your life so much easier. So that is all available in the Plann app. You can get the analytics, so you can see, it will tell you exactly when to post, when your audience is most on Instagram. It'll say, okay, you need to post a post on Tuesday at 8:32 a.m. And you're like, how do they know? This feels so random. How do they know exactly that it needs to be at 8:32? I absolutely could not tell you, but the algorithms and the app is just, the AI and all the intelligence behind the app is just insane. Really pretty much kind of feels like my brain is breaking, but it tells you exactly when you need to be posting to get the most views and the most engagement. And it's really pretty incredible with the technology. We use this every single day. And the amount of time that it saves, and just the convenience of having all of your, having all of my posts and photos and hashtags and everything all in one location. I can't even say enough great things about it. Once again, this is a business expense, so that's awesome. But isn't everybody trying to just make their life easier? If you could, that commercial that says the easy button on it, really, isn't that what we're all looking for in life? Where's the easy button to make this more fun, to make sure that I do it regularly? The biggest thing with social media is consistency. And I think that's where a lot of people are like, I just don't want to do social media. And thinking about writing something creative and really catchy, and having a beautiful photo that goes with it, or a visual that's really cool and edgy and whatever. Yeah, that's really daunting. I totally get that. I was at the same place before Christy and I started working together. I'm like, there's a reason I'm not doing this consistently, because it's not easy. So having an app like this where you can batch work ahead of time, or not batch work ahead of time, but have hashtags all in one place, you can see what your grid is going to look like. You have all of the really beautiful intelligence behind the scenes. They're telling you when to post, when posting is going to be most successful. It really has been an absolute game changer. Love it, love it, love it. So that was number 4. Number 5. So when I'm looking at my list here, the 4 things that I've talked about so far, you don't have to be in real estate to use these. Like, they could be super beneficial for any small business person out there. And I wanted to try to have my list be like that because there's not everyone listens to this podcast is into real estate. So we always try to give you tidbits that would benefit your business no matter what business you're in. So the first 4 are really, they could be for anyone. They just truly will make your life easier, make your taxes easier, make social media easier. And who doesn't want easy? So number 5 on my list is it's real estate related, and it's an app called Showing Time. And I can't even tell you like how fantastic this app is versus what we did in the old days back in 1997 when I got licensed to sell real estate. When you wanted to show a home, it was so much work to set up a showing. You had to call the listing agent or call their broker and then talk to the secretary, and then the agent would get paged, and then they would call the seller and see if there was an opening for an appointment. Like, people, for real, like, this is how it was done back in the days. You'd think that it was from horse and buggy days. The system was so antiquated, so out. Oh my God, it just took forever. You're like, oh, I want to see this house now. And like, you get a response back in 4 hours. You're like, no, I don't want to see the house in 4 hours. I want to see it in 15 minutes. And holy buckets, was it so many extra steps. Showing Time is an app, and it's all about setting up appointments. The whole point of it is to easily set up appointments to show properties. And it's newer in my area in Minnesota. It's been around for a while, but the board adopted it as the app of choice a handful of years ago. And oh my God, it's a game changer. So when I'm logged into my my MLS, my multiple listing service, and I say click on 4 houses that I want to see on Tuesday afternoon, you click on those, and then it automatically directs you to Showing Time. And the app is so smart. You can put a smart route. You can just click a button and it will make the route be really strategic to take you from one house to the next in a route that will save the most amount of time. It'll tell you exactly how many minutes between each showing. So like, say, hey, I have a showing from 1 to 2, and then my next house it'll tell you like it's a 6-minute drive or it's a 12-minute drive. So it's so cool that you can calculate exactly, especially in the super hot market. So listings, they're like gold bricks right now. You can basically hold the keys to the kingdom if you have listings. But sometimes there's properties where there's only a 15-minute showing window. I mean, really, come on. It's super hard to even see a house within 15 minutes. But if I'm trying to schedule several houses in a row, and I'm trying to I only have 15 minutes to see the house, I can't be late. I can't even be 5 minutes late because I can't risk losing any of that precious little window of time to see a property. So I love that this app tells me exactly okay, here's my window of showing for house number 1. It's going to be a 6-minute drive to house number 2. And then house number 2, I only have a 15-minute window. And then there's a 20-minute drive to the third house. And I can absolutely strategize and plan my whole entire showings through this Showing Time app. It's so damn cool. You're going to get notifications right away. So I will do it on my laptop, generally speaking. I'll set up my tour, but then I have an app on my phone that gives me all the information, things like how do I access the property, the listing agent's information in case I need to send them a message about anything. There's a button on there that after you're showing, so say you actually have the luxury of having an hour-long showing and you buzz through the house in 10 minutes and your buyers are like, nah, this isn't the one. Well, there's the additional 50 minutes that the seller might be camped down the street in their car, or they're at the park with their kids. So you can push a button and say, you notify the seller that you're done with your showing. And so when I leave a property, I push that button every time, and then the seller knows that they have the ability to go back to their house. this is especially effective if people have little kids, they have pets that they've taken with them to leave the house for showings, the showings later in the evening. Yeah, if someone can come home at 7:30 versus 8 or 8:30 and get their kids in bed and get their house settled for the night, I'm going to absolutely do them the courtesy and use that feature on the app. It does other things, like it syncs up with my calendar, and then I can just push a button and it'll pull up the address and tell me exactly where I need to go direction-wise. This app is so slick, and when I think about back to the old days, like in the 90s, of how we did it versus how we do it now, I'm like, agents that are getting into the business right now, if they do complain at all about technology, I'm like, you have no idea how awesome you have this compared to the old days when we were basically doing this via, horse and buggy. Showing Time app is the bomb. I love it, love it, love it. And it makes my job as a real estate agent so much easier. Can't speak highly enough about the app. Okay, and a bonus. Let's just do 6, just to be ridiculous. Number 6, an app that I have on my phone, is my Starbucks app. Christy and I talk about Starbucks all the time on this podcast because we are literally like Starbucks coursing through our veins almost every day. And yeah, you're like, Beth, it's a coffee app. Give me a break. Well, if I'm buying coffee all the time anyways, I may as well be getting reward points for it. So if you have an app, it ties it to your account, and I have my credit card in there. So if I'm meeting with a client, I'm like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like, I want to, I'd love to buy coffee, and then I can just scan it on my app, and then I collect rewards points. You get rewards points, and you get free coffee and free food or free whatever. You can use rewards points for whatever. But I also love that if I'm going to do like a special promotion for clients or like a little special giveaway, I've done it a couple of different times. So I did one at Christmas time, and it was, like, go grab a coffee on me and, take the edge off with your, your last minute Christmas shopping. And so I got a little code from my app, and I was able to just pop that in an email and pop that on social media and say, hey, use this little barcode and go get Starbucks on me. And I can fill it up, and I just say, hey, it's there until it runs out. So I'll usually put like $100 on it. And it's so much fun getting messages from people all throughout the day where they're like, oh my gosh, that was so nice of you. They're sending me selfies with their Starbucks. They're like, I got a hot chocolate. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've had friends across the country are like, you just bought my coffee today, and I just want to tell you it totally made my day. So there's a lot of other things to use it for rather than just, in addition to just using it just to buy your daily coffee. So those are the apps that I use literally day in, day out. They make my life easier, and I just can't even imagine. I can't even imagine going back to the old school ways. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you will start using some of these apps, and send me a message and let me know what your favorite app is out of this list if you start using them. And if there's any apps that you have that you use regularly that you're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine life without X or Y app, let Christy and I know. We're always trying to make our lives easier too. So we would love to hear from you on that. Thanks for being here today and joining me on my solo episode. I hope you learned something about a new app that you're going to give it a try and see how it helps your business and streamlines and makes your life easier. Isn't that something we could all use more of in our lives? I know I sure can. Until next time, keep your face off a bus bench and keep being a badass boss babe that you are.
Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.